What's going on, you guys? So, the Porters, Shawn and Kenny Porter, as we all know, they got a big fight coming up in less than 10 days, November 20th, against Terrence Bud Crawford. And this fight is a big one. Big one for boxing, big one for both men, big one for both of the teams, big one for everybody. But watching the interview pertaining to Kenny Porter bringing in Gervonta Davis to spar with Shawn, you get the vibes that things may not be going as good as they would like. That's the vibes that your boy Bushido got. They seem like they're scrambling for sparring partners. You know, they seem like they're having a hard time keeping consistent work for this camp. And not to mention, it's hard to find a guy that can emulate or imitate a Terrence Crawford. So in comes Tank Davis, amongst many other guys they brought in, Andre Durrell, Dennis Dolan. But Gervonta Tank Davis is a southpaw with speed and power. One may say, why do he bring in such a small man to help prepare for Terrence Crawford? Well, it's because Tank Davis got speed and explosiveness. And he's probably close to the weight that Shawn is right now. Shawn is low on weight. Gervonta Tank Davis is pretty high on weight still. But watching the interview, you get the vibes that the Porters, they're having a hard time getting work. And we've seen a little video of Shawn Porter falling asleep. You know, I mean, I'm sure he's working hard, trying to mix in his podcast, his YouTube channel, with being a commentator and preparing for Terrence Bud Crawford. I think that's just too much on the table to go into such a fight. But nonetheless, we always expect the Porters to show up and show out and give it their all. They have 9,200 feet altitude in camp training. He says you have to be focused to even be up there because your breathing is different and everything else. But I still just can't help, you know, of course he changed the tone on the interview. He changed the tone a bit to make it seem like things was going better than what he initially said it was. Because initially you get the vibes that things may not be going as planned. Things may not be going as good as they would like going into such a fight. But nonetheless, the contract is signed, sealed, and delivered, and they got to go into that fight. Now, they had a press conference and Terrence Crawford didn't show. I wonder what was the reason. He had to have had a good reason to not show to the press conference, considering this is a pay-per-view fight. This is a big fight for Terrence Crawford. So hopefully he had a good reason not to show to the press conference, because that's part of selling the fight. You got to give the people sound bites. You got to give them, you know, you got to do it. It's part of the job. It's part of the selling the fight. It's part of the fight. Shawn Porter also came out and revealed, in my opinion, a big part of his game plan going into this fight. He's planning on hopping on Crawford once he switches. Now, Crawford, as we know, usually switches between rounds. Other than that, he does it so fluidly, you may not see it unless you're really looking for it. So Shawn is banking on hopping on Crawford when he switches stances. That's a small window. And I don't think I would have gave away such a important game plan going into a fight with such a guy that is hard to prepare for as it is. It's already hard to find guys to bring into camp that can imitate and emulate a Terrence Crawford as it is. But nonetheless, we're going to see what Shawn Porter can do. I think he's doing a lot of things amongst preparing for probably one of the biggest fights of his career. Podcasting, commentating, you know. Shawn Porter's a busy man. I think everything should have been put on hold until after this fight with Terrence Crawford. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to see how this thing plays out. Nonetheless, I expect Shawn Porter to show up in shape, ready and prepared to go to the best of him and his father's abilities. Terrence Crawford, we always know, as we always know, he's always in shape. He's always ready to go. I expect a good fight. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.